How's everybody? Cheers. Where's Cameron? Over there. Wink. Oh, you know what I need to do? Let me go plug the camera in so it doesn't die. One more stall here. Hold on, I'll be right back, you guys. There we go. Juice. The juice is loose. You. Juice. Okay. Maya Madison, hello. She's ready to learn. Like it. Elliot, never replied to my email. Did I not? I thought I did, buddy. About doing an interview with you. I just have been busy, my man. I'm finishing school. I'm in like my last 3 weeks here, so it's probably gonna be it's gonna probably have to be after that. So, because I'm graduating and shit, and so it's all the crazy senior experience, senior projects, and all that kind of stuff. So, right? That was you, Elliot, wasn't it? That was in Europe, buddy. Let me see here. Oh, I got back to you, Elliot. Is that you? Yeah. Oh, there you are. Okay. I gotcha. So that's when I'm next available during. Okay, really any night past 12 p.m. UK time. Yeah, we'll get it going on, Elliot. I just have got so much shit going on, buddy. Yep. See, so you know how it is. So we'll figure it out. Don't worry. I got you. You're on my list of stuff to do. So no worries. So what else is up? What's everybody else up to? How's their week been? I was up in Oregon this week visiting. I went to a. That's right. Work hard, play hard. I went to a charity event for a buddy of mine who has who has been battling brain cancer. So we go up there and it's like a little charity snowboard event that they put on, and all the proceeds go to him and his family. Bastion Close, what's up, bud? How are you, sir? So that was good, and I got a little bit of riding in, so I have kind of a little bit of goggle tan lines here, a little bit of rosy cheeks and a rosy nose, because the sunshine was out a little bit. You, Josu Orgate, thank you. So we're playing with a new stream time on these shows, since last week was a good turnout, and it seemed to work for a lot of people. It works good for me because then I can come home and whoa! I'll quit messing with the camera. I'm sorry. This is my last adjustment. I have like OCD, so when it's not level, I kind of freak out. Anyway, what was I talking about? Being in Oregon, it was sunny and stuff, and I forgot. So that's where we're at. Last week stream earlier or later. It's good for me because then, yep, thank you, Shake. Then then I can get home and make dinner with the lady, and I'm not eating in front of you guys like you've seen me do a million times. I have time to like get that done. It makes it a little bit later at night for me if I have school to do after the fact, but you know, hey, whatever. Small price to pay for me to make sure you guys are taken care of. So, with that being said, we're keeping it at 8 o'clock for now, and then if a lot of you guys should do a cooking series. I'm a good cook, but I only have like we'd be out of material in like a week. I got a pretty good set of like 5 to 10 dishes, and then we'd be out of stuff. And I like cooking for food, like for food. And that sounds obvious, but I'm not a foodie. Like I eat for fuel kind of a thing. Like I try to make real healthy stuff, which is good, I guess. But it's kind of boring. Most of those cooking shows are like really good, delicious, tasty, pretty. My stuff's not always like that. So anyway, Travis Castillo, what would you like to learn, my man? He's like, quit gabbing, get started. This is the show, man. This is what we do. We just talk shop, and if nobody's asking bartending related questions, then I just kind of ramble on about whatever the hell is going on. So anyway, yeah, we're working on maybe playing with this later time from 8 to 9. That's, Pacific Standard Time. I put a little post on the Insties. So check out all of the socials at BartendingPro. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously here on YouTube, but on Instagram, put a little post. And we're going to make our live stream times 8 o'clock Pacific Standard West Coast United States time instead of it has been 7. So if you guys are liking it or you're hating it and you want to go back or you want to make it later or earlier or whatever. But right now, let me know between 7 or 8 or what it was and then now what it is now. Cool. Let's see here. Wave Surfer. Hey, how much should a barback be making in cash tips split with bartenders? Like Shake says, it depends on the establishment. And a lot of times you'll get a 20 to 1, 2 to 1. A lot of, there's a lot of, this is a lot of, depends on where you work. Because I've seen it so that barbacks will get, the bartenders will just tip them 10, 20 bucks, because they're not doing a whole lot. And then I've seen barbacks like at our place or barbacks at just like crazy pumping nightclubs where it's just nonstop and they're doing a lot of stuff. They will tip you 2 to 1. So like if I made $200, then my barback made $100. If I made $400, my barback made $200. Does that make sense? So that's a common one, or a multiple of 3 to 1, 2 to 1. And it just depends on how much you're doing as a barback. The better you get paid, the more you're going to be working. So there is, if it's worth it to you, then it's good. And if it's not worth it to you, then it's bad. So the should comes down to you. It's like, I don't know, what do you feel you should be making for that time that you're spending? And if you can better spend it somewhere else, making more money or a different position or a different establishment, then do it. But that's the crazy thing about bartending in this world, in this industry, is there is no, it's all whatever any establishment wants to do. There's no set rules, really. So you gotta figure that out and either deal with it or move on, kind of a thing. Sandy Makeup. That's funny. Sandy Makeup. I don't know if that's gotta be like a screen name. Sandy Makeup. If that's your real name, that's pretty awesome. I got 2 new jobs Saturday for Glen Helen Hemisphere Amphitheater and 5 Point Amphitheater. Good job, Sandy. Woo! Concert venues. Nice. Having an interview for Ontario Citizens Bank Arena. And I did use advice from your videos. Right on. That a girl. Good on ya. So sounds like there's a lot of amphitheater music venues around you. That's cool. That's a great little way to get your feet wet, get some experience, make some money. And those can probably be pretty good gigs, I would assume, depending on like if you can get into, I know sometimes those types of places have like VIP bar service and you can do pretty well in some of those. Sandy says she's sharing videos with friends, just starting on the bartending train. Nice. How'd it grow? That's the whole point of this channel, is my magnum opus at some point will step away and have this live on in infamy beyond my time to hopefully teach all of you aspiring bartenders to get some basic facts about what it takes to be a bartender. Because there's so much just nonsense out there and misinformation. At least in the U.S., it's really bad. Other countries around the world, I know they have a little more structured learning, training, bartending schools are a little more legit in Europe and stuff. So All right. Andrew McStasian. Do you teach 20-year-olds? I teach anybody who's whatever the YouTube rules say. I think you have to be 18, 16. But at the same time, you're on the other side of the screen, so I have no idea how old you are. I think for the record, I should probably say that you should be 18. So as long as you're 18, sure, I'll teach you whatever you want. Does that mean that if you're in a state that requires you to be 21, that you can do this? No, it means you cannot. It's up to you, and it's your responsibility to make sure that you're not breaking the law. And if you are breaking the law, then stop doing that. And I'm not telling you that you can. But if you are a younger person and you're kind of sick or just bored and you happen to watch some of my videos and you happen to learn some shit, then hey, that's cool too. Anyway, gotta be careful in what you say on this YouTube. They'll come get me, shut me down. You teaching 15-year-old kids how to bartend, boy? No, sir, wasn't me. Elliot says, Elliot Gallagher. I was organizing my scotches at the bar in my restaurant and got me thinking, what's your favorite scotch? I am not a scotch guy, Elliot, so I couldn't tell you. Although I would say that I had, I think I've mentioned this before, my father-in-law has a 25-year-old scotch and he also has a 50-year-old scotch. So if you know scotches, you'll know that how expensive that would be. Very. And even as someone who doesn't drink scotch, that stuff is so good that you can tell. Like, even as somebody who's not a scotch drinker, I drink that, and you can immediately go like, that's really good. It's very smooth. The peat, kind of leathery flavor that scotch has was very smooth and mild. It wasn't harsh at all. And I couldn't tell you who that was. I don't remember. I'll have to look that up next time I'm over there. I'll write it down or take a picture or something. Because I'm not, like I said, not a scotch guy. So I don't have a preference. Just because you're a bartender doesn't mean you have to like drinking or like every type of alcohol. As long as you know what it is, like you can grab it and pour it when somebody asks for it, that's all that matters. So don't get, and I'm not saying that Elliot's doing this, but anybody else out there, like don't get sucked into feeling like you need to be having your palate trained to every type of alcohol. That's a great recipe for just kind of tripping into being a raging alcoholic, which is very bad for your health. So, anyway, soapboxing. I'm on my soapbox tonight about stuff. So just be careful out there, kids. The booze will sneak up on you and ruin your life if you're not careful. Jasu Ugarte, just got my health sciences degree. Wait, hold on, buddy. Comments are coming up and it's scrolling up. But I'm lost and want to know if pursuing a bartending career would be a good move. What do you think? I think if it's calling to you, then you should try it. Just like anything in life. If it's ever calling to you and you're feeling like you want to try that or check it out or you want to do it, then do it. Intuition, gut feeling are basically never wrong. And if you get into it and you hate it, then get the hell out of there because you're probably going to hate it. Wave Surfer, you're welcome. Yeah, and Shake every once in a while. I'll link up some videos for you guys, so make sure you check all those out. Sandy Makeup back with a question about the TAM card. Should I be working EDC if all goes well? Is it the same as the Serve Safe Alcohol class? They call it different things in different states, Sandy. So look up your local guidelines and your local government agencies. Usually your state.gov, like around here it's California, so ca.gov, so whatever state you're in, look up what are your serving alcohol guidelines. The place that you work for should help you figure that out. And yeah, and if you're at EDC, then freaking good on you, girl. That'll be a sweet gig. Late nights, early mornings, whatever you want to call it. But Probably a pretty sweet gig. Dylan Terry. I don't know if this is a real question or not. And I don't want to offend anybody by answering wrongly. So I'm going to assume this is a serious question at first. Do you think a blind person could be a bartender? Dylan, if that's a serious question, I would seriously say probably not. Just because there's too much shit going on, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, and I don't say that because I don't think a blind person doesn't have the ability to do it. I just think from a liability standpoint and the subtleties of needing to read people, and a lot of that coming from a visual kind of recognition, I guess. Yeah, I don't know if that's a real question because that seems kind of silly, but if it is, then yeah, I don't know, Dylan. It could be a tough road. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but I've never heard of that. I was gonna say seen that, and I didn't want to make a bad joke. Never heard of that. Doesn't mean it's not possible, or there's not certain bars that would be able to accommodate that. But you're going to be fighting, or anybody you know who you're asking for is going to be fighting an uphill battle. Okay. Embodying light. Chris Orion. What are some tips to help remember drink orders during a rush? I think I have a video about this, and if I don't, I definitely is one that I'm wanting to make. Like, yeah, I think I have one that's see if you can find one that's a link to how to remember multiple drinks. It was serious. I'm blind. Thanks, buddy. Dylan. All right. Hey, look, man. No worries. It's one of those things that you could for sure, but it's going to be difficult, and yeah, I don't want to discourage you, but it just you would need a very specific environment to work in, and I honestly, my concern is for like your safety, just because drunk, and not because you don't. I saw a mosquito, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm gonna get that motherfucker. I hate mosquitoes. I just would worry about your safety, not because you don't know what you're doing, but because drunk people are fucking idiots, and I would feel really bad. Like if I was an owner and I gave you a job and some drunk fucking idiot threw something at you and you got hurt because you couldn't see it coming, or whatever, something like that. So don't let me tell you that you can't. Don't anybody let you tell you that you can't. But keep watching this stuff. Doesn't mean you can't learn, and couldn't be a badass motherfucking booze slinging bartender at your own place, like if you had a home bar or something. And you let me know if you get that going and get it set up. I'll come shoot a vid with you. Yeah, there you go. Shake. It's got that one for you. Chris Orion, embodying light. Basically, it's one of those things that it just kind of comes down to practice and different people will do it different ways, so you have to kind of just play with this depending on what your learning style is. So some people I know will just say it over and over, and because they just saying it helps them remember it. Like me, I picture a big chalkboard in my head, and I'll write down the orders in my head on the chalkboard, and even if I have 2, 3, or 4 orders on there, then I'll go to the next person who's trying to order a couple drinks, and same thing, I'll write those down. And then you go back, and you'll be surprised at how well you can remember. And a lot of times, if I kind of forget a couple, what will help me is just looking at the person. Can you tell I'm a visual learner, right? So for me, activating that, like looking back at the person, is like, what did that guy need? Oh yeah, this, and this. Or if you can only remember 3 out of the 5, what you do is you make those 3 that you remember. And if you can't, if the chalkboard in your head gets fuzzy, or computer screen, or whatever you want to remember it with, then you make the 3 that you remember, and then you go back to that person. You're like, okay, what am I forgetting? There was a couple more, right? And then they'll say like, yeah, the vodka soda and the Bud Light or whatever it was. And you're like, oh yeah, okay. And it's not a big deal because you're not breaking your flow, really. You know, you're still making drinks and moving and being efficient. And it's cool, especially if somebody spits out a big list of drinks. They understand that sometimes they'll fall out of our head. The bartender will forget it every once in a while. So just make what you can, and then go back over and be like, what am I forgetting? And then they'll tell you like, oh yeah, okay, and then you grab those other ones. And it just comes down to practice. So watch that video that Shake linked for you. Let's see here. Shake's getting back to you guys. I think if you can memorize alcohol mixers, and I don't know, can you try most bartenders try to pour and count 1,000, 1,002? Okay, sorry. Terry, wait, what was the? Oh yeah, talking about for Dylan. Yeah, you can work on his technique in a bunch of different ways. It'll be a little bit unique for sure. Katie Rains, best bars to begin your bartending career, easiest bars to get hired in your opinion. It's the old who you know, Katie. The easiest bars to get hired in are the places that know who you are. Or if you have friends that work somewhere and you go in and you get to know the managers there. That's how I got hired, because I had friends that worked at this place and the managers got to know me and they asked me when I was going to start working there. And it's like, well, when you give me a job. So but obviously if you have no experience, then like the super competitive bars and restaurants are going to be more difficult than ones that are maybe a little bit slower and less competitive. So like what was our lady friend Sandy was talking about earlier, stuff like music venues can be a little bit better, or I always think like cruise ships, but I know a lot of people don't live by the ocean, so that's not a good example. Golf clubs, like golf courses, bowling alleys, just kind of the weird, out of the way type of bars. Airports. So like, if you have like a big bus or train station in town that might have a bar in there or something, because your most competitive bars are going to be where all the most experienced bartenders are at. So like the high end, high dollar, flashy lights and loud music, those are going to be challenging. But doesn't mean you can't get in there. So it's all who you know and what's closest and easiest to you, and you should try everything, really. You should try to get in anywhere, and wherever you first get your job, stand on that, and then keep looking for other places that you want to work at. Casinos, that's a good one. And like a lot of casinos, like people might think like, oh, that'd be really hard. At a main casino bar could be really difficult, but a lot of times casinos have like little bars. So there's kind of a little just kind of corner bar that's in a random, like if you're in Vegas and you're walking through casino after casino, there's like huge main bar over here, and then you kind of walk around the corner and down the hall, and there's this little tiny like one person bar that just services, customers coming out of the hotel pool or something, so they can have side little casino bars that are lower entry requirements, but are good because you're working for a big company that you can move up from. So there you go, Katie. Long-winded answer and CPS 032. It depends on what casino you're applying to and what bar in the casino you're trying to get into. Sorry, meant do you teach 20-year-old hands-on? Andrew Mexasian, I don't teach anybody hands-on right now. I think you had actually sent me an email about doing private lessons. And it's one of those things I'd like to do, but I just don't have the time. It would be basically impossible for me to coordinate unless you lived right down the street from me. So I'd like to coordinate with like a couple of the people out there in the online world and YouTube world that teach bartending. I think it'd be cool for us to do something like a huge bartending convention. I've tried to figure it out before, and the logistics of it are difficult because you'd want to have everybody their own little station where they can kind of practice and stuff, and it's just so laborious. It could be one of those things where we can kind of do like a panel and we teach different things, but then you got to kind of remember and take notes, and then you got to go home and try to remember it, which I don't know, maybe you guys would be into. You tell me. But I think it would be cool to try to figure out like kind of like a bartending convention or some sort, something like that. So if anybody out there is watching and teaches this stuff as well, and they're checking me out as their competition, then give me a call. Let's try to set that up. Let's see. You guys got a bunch of questions, and I'm like just lagging long-winded answers here. And we'll have to keep it kind of tight tonight because I do have a lot of schoolwork to get to after this myself. Andy Welterman. You guys have a video about it. Just watched it last night. Sweet. Nicholas Mayberry. Have an interview at a craft brewery tomorrow. Any interview tips? So yeah, Nick, go watch the video that Shake just linked to at the bottom. I want to make sure this is the right one. Yep, that's the right one. The tap room bartender. So go watch that video. Sorry, I just jumped back in time on the question board here. There we go. Where are we at? Fill down. Okay, casinos. Andy. So Nicholas Mayberry. Yeah, so go watch that. Go watch that link, Nick, that my moderator, mshake3 there. He linked to down towards the bottom here. And that talks specifically about getting a job at breweries. Basically what you want to do is try to do some research about the establishment before you go in there. It would have been good if you could have gone in there and like as just like a normal person, not tell them like, hey, I might be getting a job here, just as a normal person, unless the manager was there and they knew that. But you can go in as just like an average Joe and sit down and try a flight of their beer and kind of be knowledgeable about their product, and that would have been optimal. But otherwise, just go online and see what you can find out about them. Let's see. Juanjo HM, what's up? Can I use Cinzano Bianco instead of dry vermouth on martinis? Is it a dry or a sweet vermouth? Cinzano Bianco is a dry vermouth, I believe. I mean, Cinzano makes all of the above. Do I have that? I might actually. Let me see here. I thought I did. Maybe I don't. No, I think it's actually. I might have it in my inside bar. But yeah, I don't. Cinzano makes all the above. So just make sure it says dry vermouth and you're good to go. And instead of dry vermouth on a martini. Yeah, as long as it's a dry. I know that they make a dry vermouth, so just make sure that's what you're putting in it. Definitely do not put sweet vermouth in a martini. Actually, probably wouldn't be that bad. You should try that sometime and just see what happens. Chris, what link are you trying to get to, buddy? The drink recipes one? I don't know, man. Oh, that's kind of that's an old live stream. If you go into my videos, dang it, I keep hitting reset on this thing and losing you guys' questions. I'll leave this up to Shake. Anyway, I just clicked it, buddy. It should be working. So have another shot at that, Christopher. It should work. Kevin Huerto, what's up, man? Kev, my casino gave me full-time position bartending. Was barback started on the 24th of this month. You, good job. Cheers. Northwest. Clink. There you go. So like here, you guys take the initiative, show them that you know your shit, and good things will happen. Wanjo says, if you do want to include vermouth on a classic martini, not just coat the glass with it, what's the ratio of vermouth vodka? Thanks. I think traditionally it was really high. It was almost like 4 to 1. But nowadays, excuse me, it's like, you know, quarter ounce or less if you're going to actually put a splash in there. But honestly, it's getting lower and lower. So I wouldn't do more than a quarter ounce. Yeah, I would say, probably. So on the ratio on that, if you're pouring like 10 to 1 almost, I would say. Right? So don't do, you know, if you're making like a 2 to 3 ounce martini, I wouldn't do any more than like a quarter or a half ounce of vermouth, just because it's too overwhelming of a flavor. And that's generally not what they want with a martini. And if my math is wrong on my head, then that's just what we got. That should be about right, though. Yeah, I wouldn't do more than like quarter or half ounce. Yes, the gaming bar next to the hotel. Nice. Good job, Kev. Noel. Phone didn't notify me. It didn't tell me last week either. It's all right. Make sure you have your notifications turned on there, Miss Smith. It's all right. We just started. I'm doing them at 8 to 9 now. Noel, instead of 7 to 8. So you're good. Bjorn Franson, what's your approach if someone asks you, can you improvise me a delicious cocktail, or someone asks for mixology stuff? You'll have to clarify what you mean by asking for mixology stuff, because nobody really does that. But your other part of your question is improvise a delicious cocktail. That usually all I do is just back into what they normally have. So I'll ask them like, well, what do you normally drink? I normally drink whiskey or vodka or tequila or rum or whatever it is, or beer, right? And then you can say like, okay, well, these are the beers that I have, or these are the wines that I have, or these are the whiskeys that I have. And then how do you normally take it? I take it neat, or I take it on the rocks. And so you can kind of sort of back into what they normally like. And if they're just like, well, just make me something different and random, in that case, then just make whatever you normally drink for yourself. So for like me, that would either be like an old-fashioned sort of thing, or like a delicious margarita of some sort, you know. And if they don't like it, then it's not your fault, because they told you to just make them whatever the hell. So they you know, I've never had anybody say that, so it's not a problem to worry about. But yeah, just kind of, I just back stuff into it. Like, what are their flavors? Do you want something sweet? Do you want something fruity? Do you want something tart or dry? Or, you know, you just gotta kind of just ask them what they normally like, and just you end up basically backing them into their normal cocktail. Which I think I can count on one hand over a career that has spanned 15 years how many times somebody's asked me that question, Bjorn. So don't lose a lot of sleep over it. It's not common. Most people are very particular about what they want. They know exactly what they want before they come sit at your bar. And generally humans, we are creatures of habit, and we do and drink and eat and live the same shit day after day after day. So just be good at asking questions is the better answer to that, Bjorn. Learn how to ask questions to get the information out of people that you want, and you'll be all right. Joseph White, make a cowboy cocksucker. Tell me how to make it. I don't know what's in it. I don't know if I can. Let's look it up. Cowboy cocksucker recipe. What is it? Do we know? Also known as Cowboy and Butterball, is a layered shooter made from butterscotch schnapps, Bailey's Irish cream, and that's it. Really? That's it? Butterscotch and Bailey's? Cocksucking cowboy. Is that different? Yeah, layered shooter, butterscotch schnapps, which I believe I have. Where's my butter shots? Yep. So I do have some butter shots, aka butterscotch schnapps here. And my Baileys. I have, you guys remember from the Christmas stuff, I have pumpkin spice Baileys, which actually might be better. Or I have the generic brand of Irish cream, which is Carolyn's. So that is that really all that's in it? So it's just a. Why did they rename the buttery nipple? I don't get it. That's all that is. Just a buttery nipple. See, drinks are rehashed, renamed, and reclaimed as their own, when they're really just some old shit that's been rehashed and redone. Those are delicious, but I'm not gonna make one right now because I need to have a crispy mind to do some homework. I'm allowed one little beer and that's it. And that would be delicious, but it would also be dangerous. You don't want to have too many of those. That's a lot of sweetness in that drink. All right. Sweet. Cool. Noel's good. Got it. Somehow the bell was turned off. This wrong has been righted. There you go. Sweet. Right on. All right. I know. So kind of a mellow live stream tonight, team. I apologize. We don't have a whole lot going on. Any other cool stories or questions? Because I will have to cut this one off a little bit early tonight. We did learn that a cowboy cocksucker is really just a slippery nipple. Unless you've heard of a different recipe there. Who said that? Joseph. If you know of another recipe of that, let me know. But we learned that. So slippery nipple, aka cowboy cocksucker. Which the names of these, you kind of think about certain things and the ingredients, and you're like, okay, I see where they were going with it, why they named it that, but silly boys. Already claimed. Buttery nipple, or use Sambuca, and it's a slippery nipple. Sambuca and Bailey's, that's a dangerous one. Sambuca is like peppermint or spearmint schnapps that's like really strong. This is like really super knockoff. Alright, this is 100 proof peppermint schnapps. This stuff will do your head in, and it smells delicious. I mean, it smells like, just smells like freaking mouthwash. Which, you know, I mean, like in a candy cane. Smell is a better way to say it. It smells like candy cane. You're like, mouthwash does not smell delicious. And 100 proof, so you put this in a couple of shots and drinks, and that stuff will fuck you up. But anyway, you got peppermint, and I realize that I have that for imitation Sambuca, but then I have like creme de menthe and peppermint schnapps, so I have all the minty stuff covered. Let's see, what did Noel say? What's your go-to fruity beverage when someone asks for a surprise drink but fruity? I usually will just grab pineapple juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice, and then some rum, some vodka, and like triple sec, and just kind of slap it all together. But that's generally for like people that want shooters, or you can do kind of a twist on a gummy bear. So I'll grab like, you know, triple sec and peach schnapps and like raspberry vodka, or a blueberry vodka works pretty good too. And you can just do that, but then with like a splash of cranberry juice in there, or some cranberry juice in there, so that it gives it some red color and just softens it a little bit, so it's still sweet, but it's not like just booze. So that's another good one. Nothing but mouth rinse juice. Yep. Fresh Young's called it like it is. For sure. Cool. And what other kind of weird stuff do I got down here? Some caramel syrup. We have some weird Malibu with pineapple. So this, whew, that stuff smells dangerous. It smells kind of weird. I would have liked that for my girlfriend in high school. Benedictine. What other cool stuff do I have in here? I don't know if I have anything. I have this like crazy. I have this crazy sake bottle that my wife brought from Japan. Sake! Right? Napasake. I don't put this in drinks, I just have this on the bar because it looks cool. Even though it's kind of hiding in the back and you can't really see it. Right? It's kind of like over here, hiding out in the corner next to the Tanqueray. So, you can't really see some of this stuff. You can't really see all of it. Should pan this around a little bit so you guys can see what else we got in the bar. I have a little empty. This is a fun one. So you take these Crystal Skull vodkas, which is way overpriced. And the only reason they charge so much is because it comes in a skull bottle. And then I put some like cool rocks and stuff. I actually used to have a little beta fish, you know, like the little beta goldfish. And I had it in this guy. I just put a couple rocks in one little plastic leaf in there, and he was happy as a clam. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she's like, "That's so mean. He doesn't have any space in there." And he was fine though. He was cruising around. His name was Jaws, and I ended up losing Jaws because I didn't get the water cleaned in the right way. I forgot to, you know, you put him in there and then you put the like water treatment stuff, and he died in like 2 minutes. It was sad, but anyway, beta fish live in little tiny puddles. So this is a cool thing that you can put stuff in, fishies, whatever you want. Crystal Skull. Don't buy that bottle if you can avoid it because they charge you like $40 and it's definitely not worth that. Absinthe. I need to make a video and it's going to happen someday about absinthe. So the story with absinthe is, I forget the type of alcohol that it's, or like what it's distilled from. But this was put on the map because it used to be aged, not this particular one, but just absinthe in general. It used to be aged in wormwood barrels, and wormwood has a hallucinogenic element to it. So they used to call this the Green Fairy, right? And it was made famous by Van Gogh because he used to always drink this shit back when it was still fun. I've heard that they have outlawed and subsequently genetically modified wormwood so that you don't have that hallucinogenic effect anymore. Although I've also heard that there are underground batches that you can get that will make you see weird shit. So it's kind of like it's a anise, so like a kind of a black licorice flavor smell to it, which isn't really my personal favorite, but it's just kind of a cool one. It's one that's just, you know, people like to talk about more than actually, you don't really see it around here. It's more of a European thing. Bitters, what other cool stuff? I don't know. Not a whole lot in there. Okay, killing time here. Let's get a couple more questions and then we gotta shut her down, team. I know, R.I.P. Jaws. He was my man. He lived for a while too. I had Jaws for a couple of years. He was badass. Let's see now. Well, hypothetically speaking, if someone took a vacation to your area, could they schedule a lesson with you? If I'm available and if I'm around, in those theoretical possibilities, it is a possibility that we could do a lesson. Well, that's a lot of coordinating. If you really want to, then sure, send me an email. support@bartendingblueprint.com. And the easiest thing would just be don't book a trip just to come out here to do that if you're not in the area. Just if you happen to be in San Diego, like, oh yeah, BartendingPro lives around here. Let's try to go hang out when he's working, or go get some lessons. I mean, the best thing would just come down when I'm working, and then you can hang out and just watch me do my thing, and just talk to people and see how it's just a cruisy, easy job, and there's no magic to it really. It's just being yourself around people. But if you really wanted a super private lesson, Noel, then yeah, give me an email. Same with, I guess that was Mexasian. Who was that? What's his name? Nick? No. Andrew Mexasian. If you're still watching, if you really want to come out, we could figure it out. But it's not going to happen for at least another month because I got to finish school. So I'm right at the end of all this, and it's just getting crazy. And I got a couple of weddings to go to over the summer. That's about it, though. I'll probably figure it out. After, let's see, before the second or third week in July is better. And then from the second or third week of July until basically the first week in September is going to be out of the question because it's track season. We have a horse racing fairgrounds track by in my town, and that's super high season. We're also right by the beach, right? So summertime is super fucking busy. So anywhere from the middle of July until the first part of September, no can do. But after that, that would be a lot better. That would be a lot easier. Adrian, see you. Stoked, of course. And I will be able to put more time into it in a month. Can you guys believe that? A month. I'm going to be done in a month. You guys, so many of you guys have been hanging out and so loyal and supportive and have watched me complain and bitch and drag my feet on doing stuff on this channel for like 2 years because I've just been going, oh, I got school. Almost done. So close. And then right when I'm going to have a lot more time to put into this, somebody's going to snatch me up and give me a good job, right? Hopefully that's why I went to school for. They're coming, Noel. They're coming. This one's going to be different. See how this one's got his arms bent? Noel is asking about hats. This is the old logo where his arms bent. Actually, it works on the hat, but I changed it so his arm's straight. They're coming. Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it. All right, last call and questions, team, and then we got to go. So if there's anything else out there pressing that you want to know about, otherwise we'll have to wait until next week. In the meantime, let's see if there's any other cool stuff that we can talk about in here. Not off the top of my head that I can see anyway. Oh, I'm going to cut all these I'll probably see you guys before then, but at some point I'm cutting my hair. I was trying to hair farm it. I was trying to grow my hair long. Girls watching, do you like guys with long hair? Yes or no? Doesn't matter. I think I'm going to cut it all off anyway, but I was trying to hair farm it. I was trying to grow it long. And my reason being like, I want to have my hair long once before it all falls out. Not that it's going to guarantee fall out because my grandpa had a lot of hair, but anyway. Thinking about chopping it because it happens every couple of years. I'll get this bug where like I want to grow my hair out, and I'll grow my hair out for like a year, and it'll get to like this point where it's like right here, you know, and then like fuck, I don't have the patience to go like a whole another year or two. Sandy says yes. Adrian says meh. Lana T, no worries. Next week. So this is the end of the hour. So come back next week an hour earlier and you'll catch the whole show. We'll start at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard West Coast United States time. So it'd be 8, 9, 10, 11 going across the East Coast times. Yeah, first stream another time. It's all good. Throw out a question. You got time, Lana, right now. What do you want to know? I'm doing last call for questions. Not too shabby. It depends on the guy. Some guys look good, some guys looks bad. Yep. Well, that's the thing is I'm just like, I don't have the patience for it, so it's coming off. And then in another 2 years, I'll get another intent to grow it long, and I'll do the same thing. You can probably go back through my videos, and you can see where I go through that phase, and it gets kind of long and shaggy for a little while, and then I trim it all back. So my wife's stoked. She doesn't like it. She wants it high and tight. Not high and tight, but she wants a little more clean cut. No one? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Cheers on showing up to this live stream, you guys. This has been making you a bartending pro. Oh wait, Lana's chiming in. She got it under the wire. What is a good way to get non-tippers to tip? In my area, we sadly have many people who sadly don't tip. I just make sure that and I don't mean this in disrespect to anybody who's not American, but sometimes you're like, okay, are they from out of the country? Just because the tipping norm of America isn't the norm in most other countries. So if they're a foreigner, I'll give them a pass, right? It's like, that's just not, they're not their culture. Unless they've lived here long enough to know better, in which case then they now know that they should do good, at least, some tip. Now, if they're like a local, regular, American-born citizen and they continue to not tip, I don't do this, but I've had coworkers that will go so far as to blacklist people. Like, they won't serve them. We'll have people that won't tip, and they'll come in and they're like, I'm not going to serve you because you're not going to tip me and I'm not going to work it free. Because in the States, what a lot of people that don't come from tipping countries or people that haven't ever worked in the service industry don't understand is that servers and bartenders, we pay a certain percentage of our sales. And that's because the system is assuming we're getting tipped. So if you go in and you stiff somebody, they are actually paying out of their pocket to give you service. So this is why you should always tip somebody at least 10%. Even if somebody gives you fucking terrible service, I will at least cover their taxes. I'll give them like 8% or 7% or 10%. So if you are making someone pay to serve you, then like I said, eventually they won't serve you anymore. So people that I worked with, they just stopped serving people. They're like, no, I'm not going to serve you. You don't tip me, I'm not going to serve you. But you can't force somebody to tip you. I mean, really all you can do is just kind of ignore them. Give them, I don't want to tell anybody to give somebody shitty service, but what you can do is you can just really ignore them so that they kind of get the picture that they are not your favorite customer, which you should always give good customer service no matter what. But there are some customers that you don't want in your establishment. There are just some customers, and this is true in any industry, there's some people that you don't want in your clientele roster. And sometimes, the old, I had to fire such and such client. You have to fire your clients. It's the same thing in the service industry. There's just people that are shitty. You don't want in your bar, that you don't want in your establishment. They have bad vibes. They don't contribute positively to the environment or whatever, to your employees. So they basically just get no service or a very minimum of what they need to get in order to get them their shit and get them out of there. So there you go, Lana. There's no magic bullet for that one. Oh, Noel, sorry, did I miss your question? What's your birthday? July 24th. So it's right before, it's basically the week of when track season starts. So July 24th. I am a Leo. Yeah, I know these are Americans. I give passes to the non-locals too. Yeah, I don't know, Lana. It's just one of those things. Sometimes you have shitty tippers, and I just look at it as like either I'm paying some karma that I owe the universe in some way because this person came and stiffed me. But the good thing is I'm getting rid of that, and that person that is stiffing you is now picking up shitty karma, so it's going to come back to them anyway. And even if they don't realize, they'll learn eventually, and then it'll all hit them like a ton of bricks. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I got to cut it off. I got to go do homework, of course, always. But I'm almost done. We're going to keep on with this time, 8 o'clock West Coast, United States time. Make sure you follow me on all the social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, obviously here on YouTube at BartendingPro. This has been making you a bartending pro. My name's Jason. If you're a new subscriber, I know a couple of you guys said you just kind of happened to show up. Make sure you, if you're not a subscriber, you subscribe so you can get notifications whenever these shows come on. Make sure you turn on your notifications for the videos, and you do that in your settings of your own personal app and phone, or however you're watching this. So you know when I turn this puppy on and start the show. If you really want to support, if you're a long-time subscriber and viewer and you want to support directly, you can try becoming a member over at bartendingblueprint.com, or you can support at Patreon, BartendingPro at patreon.com. All right, guys, thanks for showing up and hanging out. I'll see you next time, same time, 8 o'clock, and we'll be ready to rock and roll with another live edition of Making You Bartending Pro. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and you guys have a good week out there. Go make $1 million, get all the jobs, and tell me about it next week.